hear my opinion on the Lil Durk situation? I ain't saying he guilty. I don't know what his situation is. But if life is going good for you and you come from private, we risk so much of our freedom.
Nobody knew that Durk was a full mafia leader ordering kills, but everyone knew that V was a cold-blooded murderer. While transporting gang members on private aircraft, video of a murder they committed is becoming viral on social media. A video of a dam in private planes is going viral on social media, and what has been discovered will shock you. V and Durk caused mayhem in the streets, and I'm going to show you how dangerous they were. Durk has a lot on his plate right now, and one of the things that keeps him awake in his cell is the revelation that they got them in F. Hey man, it's over. The federal government has video evidence of his offenses. You can't really tell who it is, but you can see that truck getting lit up right there, which is crazy, of OTF members committing the murder they are accused of. The feds also have footage of Duro's goons following him around in Los Angeles. What's even more damning is that they have footage. Damn, they got them right there letting them rockets off. Boy, they why boy, y'all frag. Participating in a murder with V that was captured on video in August 2020, FBG Duck was shot and died along Michigan Avenue and East O Street in the Chicago Gold Coast neighborhood. CCTV footage showed a black car stop in front of a store and armed men get out and begin firing as Duck tries to flee in vain. They then jump back into the black car, and a gray Crest, who was also involved in the crime, drove off, leaving Duck to die. Additional footage showed a gray Chrysler pull up to a block with a police officer. Vehicle in pursuit, the police car was right behind them when they followed them into Parkway, bagged out, and left Crazy Man. They immediately started firing shots as Duck attempted to flee in vain, and then they jumped back in the black car and a gray Chrysler. Old interviews and new evidence both point to Durk and Val for ordering and paying. Hey, you know what was so funny about that? So if you get a chance, you guys go back and watch this video. King Val, who was slain barely 3 months after FBG Duck set a $100,000 reward on Duck's life, is at the center of the case, which alleges that Durk not only approved of but also benefited from the violence that resulted in her son's death. The legal action also claims Alamo documents. The lawsuit alleges that Sony Music Entertainment, Universal Music Group Records, and Empire Distribution funded the OTF criminal enterprise by intentionally signing musicians with gang affiliations. Diss tracks are endangering the life of FBG Duck and making money off of the deadly competition. I know one thing though, if you're king, you'll cook. You already know, and they're telling OTF credit cards. After the lawsuit became public, Durkio attempted to defend his name by organizing a birthday bash event in Chicago where he performed something unexpected. He paid homage to all the MF credit cards. I'm not sure who I was using them for. But if Van had one guy, Durk, it's going to be all awful for you. Lil Jojo and FBG Duck, his operations team, were among those who had died in the Chicago gang war. Lena Weekly, the mother of FBG Duck, was fed up and responded on Instagram, saying that nobody else cared except us when Duck did it. When Duck attempted to unite the gangs in 2019, which was also involved in the crime, fled, leaving Duck to die. Additional video showed the gray Chrysler pulling up to a block with a police car in pursuit. Lena Weekly FBG filed a lawsuit against Durk and Vaughn, claiming that these parties ordered and paid Block gang members to carry out the hit just days before his arrest. Durk was embroiled in a lawsuit against Lil Durk's record label, which only the King Val family and estate could access. With his song Chicago Legends, his operations refused to accept a truce and continued to fire and taunt him and his affiliates. In response, Duck said, "One of the greatest, I'm going to lie," D said. It's like, don't even matter brutal diss tracks in the Chicago gang war dead bit where he dissed his ups and their dead homies. In the track, Duck WS made Chicago Legends that was just about business. He said, "I wasn't going to diss the dead, and okay, I did it, but T-Roy and Odie were dead." As it turns out, this track would see a bounty placed on his head and eventually get him killed. I want the truth right now. I got push pieces from J-Man, but J-Man doesn't whoop everyone because J-Man was a BD anyway. It's interesting that viewers readily pointed out in the comment section that they could see the car. I'm trying to figure out what they were thinking, because the police car right behind the police seat follows you right in the Parkway, and you all know that you're just smoking Duck, but you see what I mean when I say that that's kind of crazy that had been used in Duck's murder. One of O-Block's gang members, Boss Top, was questioned about Duck, and he might have became a little arrogant and said that they had slain Duck for insulting King Von's closest buddy, who was now dead __. You know nothing about FBG Duck, but do you have any opinions about him? For example, did you know him before? I don't know, G. All I know is that he didn't mention Troy, or that was the beginning of the whole inquiry. That's the strange thing. God did it quickly after Boss Toop said that the probe began immediately after. Stated that I recall when this video first surfaced, everyone said, "You guys have seen what Boss Top." Things quickly took a turn for the worse, and on October 13, 2021, the feds raided Ook and arrested 5 men for the murder of Ducks. These men were Charles Liggins, also known as C. Kenny Mack, also known as Kenneth Robertson, to Carlos Alford, also known as Lost Marcus Smart, also known as Muwap, and Christopher Thomas, also known as D-Thang, were among the 5 accused of murder and unauthorized use of racketeering, assault with hazardous weapons, and guns. It turned out that there was a rat in all block working with the authorities who disclosed that the person who paid for the kill gave the killer's custom-made up chains as a reward. The charges carried a mandatory minimum sentence of life in prison upon conviction. Things were starting to come together when a video of King Von handing personalized chains to all block members appeared on YouTube. However, here is where things get intriguing since, according to FBG Butter, Durk may have been the one who paid for FBG Duck's killing. Von failed to make the payment. All block men for killing Duck. I apologize for letting the public. In one of the most bizarre cases of self-snitching, the gang allowed a vlogger named Panda Productions into their stronghold. As the weeks stretched into months, the police worked tirelessly to piece together surveillance footage, eyewitness accounts, and social media activity. The breakthrough came when investigators found a digital breadcrumbs trail connecting the crime to the Oblak gang's social media posts boasting about the attack, along with video evidence that black suspects at the scene began to paint a damning picture. Oblak gang to assassinate FBG, but I don't believe Von paid them. It turns out that Muwap and C Murder weren't arrested in O, according to the arrest footage released from when they were arrested for this Duck case. Yes, they show a witness murders, but it turns out that they were arrested at a private hangar, which isn't normal, let's face it. Duck Butter revealed that you have to look at the suspect's arrest footage. Members of the Oblak gang could afford to rent a private aircraft. They guys merely grabbed the app on a private hangar. What's intriguing is that V was already dead when they were arrested, so anybody with that much money could fly out of Mapo and see murder on a private aircraft. Von is dead, alright, but how are guys paying for a jet? It turns out that Durk may have been the one who funded Duck's murder, and in a Vlad interview 7 months ago, Butter was snitching on him. Now, let me tell. They claim that Durk paid the money as well, but Don and King Vol couldn't have paid, you see what I mean? And the court didn't show that either of them did. No one claimed that I was present when King V gave them the money, and the video when they did the money on tap didn't have anything to do with it either, which is why it was in the paperwork. However, they claim that Venon paid, and I'm attempting to determine whether he paid in the old blockchains, but you guys claim they got cash. However, as I mentioned earlier, before his arrest, it appears that there was also a rat in his camp because the feds have him in 4K paying for Rondo's murder. They never mentioned this in court at all, and nobody from the old Block 5 spoke, so you know what I mean when I say that we don't know that. Lil Durk was captured in 4K drill, and because it's their own folks, rappers should start acting differently. The world now knows that Durk was apprehended in 4K because one of his friends wore a wire around him, and other OTF members' court documents mention a man named OTF Jam, a trusted crew member who was released from prison in 2022 after serving 12 years for attempted murder. He was identified as an informant who had been working with authorities for years, and his choice to wear a wire and give information to law enforcement was a backstabbing move. According to the indictment, Jam's knowledge and recordings were crucial in connecting Durk to the murder in order to forward the scheme. The absurd thing is that throughout Jam's 12-year sentence for attempted murder, Durk thought of him as a brother. Durk supported him financially and made sure Jam's needs were satisfied, which included paying for his legal bills, buying him a home and a vehicle, and giving him more than $50,000 in cash, which provided you 50. You are aware of the facts. __ we don't need to hear all he said. But it seems like he was prepared to share everything now, dude. Ensured that he provided a means for me to be straight. The tragic events of November 6, 2020, when King Val was killed outside an Atlanta nightclub, sparked OTF Jam's revelations to the police. The altercation started as a physical altercation between Val and Rondo, which escalated into gunfire when one of Rondo's entourage members. I doubt that Butter is aware of the amount of money that Van had. For example, Van had some whack and got racked up. You hear me? He made a lot of money very quickly. I'm not sure how he did it, but he did it by doing shows and features. I believe he signed a deal or something, but Van had that money. The problem is that I'm not sure that Van paid the money either, as it was never proven by Pro. Allegedly shot Val multiple times, killing him. Lil Durk's friend's death sparked further animosity toward Rondo, and rumors started to circulate that Durk had placed a bounty on Rondo's head. Court documents state that OTF Jam informed officers that following Von's passing, Durk used coded language to inform OTF members that he would offer a reward to anyone who participated in the murder of Ron. Durk's cousin, DeAndre Wilson, also informed OTF members that anyone who participated in the murder would receive lucrative music opportunities with OTF. Rondo almost died for the first time in 2021 in Georgia. The night before the shooting, he had played at a bar a short drive from what would eventually become. According to federal court documents, it reached a boiling point. According to reports, Lil Durk's associates discovered that Quijo Rondo was lodging at a hotel in Los Angeles. They then ambushed and killed Quijo Rondo in the center of Los Angeles. Lil Durk's partners Keith Jones and DeAndre Wilson, after driving from Chicago to San Diego and then to Los Angeles, David Lindsay and Asa Houston reportedly used money that Durk personally gave. When they arrived, the OTF members met with Khan. According to court documents, Grant, a senior colleague who had taken a private aircraft to Los Angeles, was instrumental in enabling the operation by procuring hotel rooms for the group, buying ski masks, and acquiring 2 luxury automobiles to be used in the ambush. As the day went on, Grant also gave Jones, Lindsay, and an unnamed guy firearms. The gang reportedly started following Quijo Rondo about Los Angeles in a Cadillac Escalade, with the day's activities culminating at a gas station. Jones, Lindsay, and the unnamed man reportedly emerged from an open fire, unleashing a hail of bullets in an attempt to kill Quando. Tragically, his cousin El Pab, who was standing outside the Escalade, was struck and killed in the gunfire, while Rondo miraculously escaped unharmed. This occurred across from the Beverly Center, a busy area in the heart of Los Angeles. Asa Houston allegedly parked his car strategically behind the station, setting the stage for the ambush. As authorities started to piece together the specifics of the brazen attack, they discovered that Durk isn't the only rapper who has had close friends snitch on them. Following the attempted ambush, the suspects regrouped at an In-N-Out hamburger stand where they allegedly discussed payment with Con Grant. The group then flew back to Chicago from San Diego. Numerous others, including his brother, one of his closest friends, and his hitman, have turned against Young Thug in a Rico case. At one time, Rich Homie's leaked audio also included papers that made their way online. Quan claims that the person who shot up his father's store was involved in the murder of Big Nut. One of the individuals, Thug, is charged with killing Young. The site of the crime, according to law enforcement sources, Quandu and his group left the club after the performance and stopped briefly at a convenience store in Blackshear, Georgia. During this stop, gunfire targeted the rapper and his group. It is thought that Quando Rondo was there when the shooting started, even though he wasn't there when the police arrived. One member of Rondo's entourage was hurt in the attack, receiving a gunshot wound to the hand by August 2022. I only know that whoever shot up my dad's store had something to do with Big Nut's murder, and Thug is accused of renting a 2014 silver Infiniti car that was utilized during that crime. Quan said in the audio leak, according to court footage, Thug's hitman, YSL Woody Young Thug's sister Dora Williams, also responded to the news when he said that he had no justification for saying that he had to say all that me and I shouted out Rich Homie K Quan's dad's barbershop for no reason at all. I didn't even ask him anything, he just said it was a Rich Homie. I went to a Rich Homie Quan performance and he shouted, "Free Thug," so she moved to Instagram to accuse Quan of snitching and attack the rapper for being hypocritical. At one point in time, a fan asked the rapper if he had snitched during an Instagram live, and his response was priceless: "Did I snitch, Rich Homie?" Quan denied the snitching accusations and even offered $1 million to anyone who could provide compelling proof that he told on Thug. My name ain't in no paperwork, bro. Suck my, did you suck one this morning, get you out of body, young man? Did I snitch? Quan said during the Instagram live session. Documentation guy wasn't the only person close to Thug who was accused of snitching, bro. One of the most well-known admissions was made by Young Thug's brother Unfunk, whose true name is Quantavious Greer, who accepted a plea bargain. Adding even another twist to this tale, an amazing tale based on local reports, Unfunk agreed to a 12-year sentence after entering a negotiated guilty plea on 1 count of breaking Georgia's RICO Act and 1 count of theft by receiving stolen goods. Alright, ma'am. In addition to acknowledging that YSL was more than just a record company, Gunner also said that he has seen certain YSL members engage in illegal behavior as a group. You personally know that members or associates of YSL, a music label and a group, cry, "Yes, ma'am." People were labeling Gunner a rat in the business after this video was revealed. Gunner instantly defended himself, and his attorneys even rushed to Instagram to refute the claims that he had snitched. Gunner did not snitch in order to escape from prison. His plea, essentially, all of these guys are snitching and saying, "Rest in peace, Rich Homie Quan," but he had told and he had read it too. One of the first individuals to flip on Thugger was one of his former closest associates, with whom he had a falling out. In 2023, Quan leaked audio appeared as proof of Quan snitching, and things weren't looking good for Quan. In the video, he can be seen talking to an unnamed individual whom many believe to be a Fed. The interrogation footage wasn't the only thing that leaked. His statement cannot be used in court against any other defendant, not even L, and he has not cooperated since reading it. If Durk beat this jam, he wouldn't be rocking with you anymore. I won't lie, Jam, I don't know what you told him, but everyone over there is saying that you told him videos that look like you got a Y on. Do you think that Gunner told him, "I don't sit up and play games," and that man told you to go in there and keep your mouth shut? Would you play? Law enforcement agencies are actively trying to apprehend Powell, and while he is at large, it appears that another individual that Durk paid to murder a victim was also apprehended. It turns out that Durk discovered that OTF Jam had been wearing a wire around him, and that OTF members had betrayed not only Durk but the entire gang. Durk decided to exact revenge, but they were unable to murder someone who was collaborating with the feds, so they targeted his family, which is how OTF Jam's baby mother, Octavia Redmond, was killed on July 19, 2022, as we know from the Mail. When a stolen SUV pulled up close to the suspect, a 15-year-old boy got out, went up to Octavia, and shot her several times. As the investigation progressed, authorities used police and private camera footage to track the suspect's movements before and after the shooting. The stolen SUV was identified as the one that killed Cash, who chose to take a picture next to the mural that showed his middle finger, but instead of saying anything nice. There's a lot going on, Jam, so if Durk Mac gets out of this situation, he's not rocking with you. Would I play gun in the club? No, leaked camera footage showed the shocking moments when the YSL hitman turned on Thug. The rapper revealed that he didn't like hanging out with the YSL boss because it always got him into trouble. The person thought I'd do anything he wants him to do is bad, so you're talking about Jeffrey and I'm already in a bad situation. It's attached to him because he thinks foolish things like calling me up even though he's been snitched on. Durk has always kept it a buck for his friends and slid for them, but occasionally innocent lives are in the crosshairs, from ordering the death of an informant baby mama to having his brother's killers murked. When Durk's brother D-Thang got murked on a Sunday morning outside a strip club in South Suburban Harvey on June 7, 2021, there was no question that he doesn't play around. He was killed when center shooters opened fire from a car while a security guard was wounded but managed to escape the assault. Powell and Montgomery Wilson were accused of conspiring to carry out a murder at an interstate facility. Montgomery Wilson, for hire, also had to deal with a homicide. For a firearms charge and a hire count, photos from the U.S. Attorney's Office that purport to show him chasing the victim with a gun are among the prosecution's evidence, while Preston Powell is still a. Lil Durk placed a bounty on the head of Stephon Mack, who was rumored to have been responsible for Dang's death. On January 7, 2022, Mack was shot dead at the Youth Peace Center of Roseanne, which is located at 420 West 11th Street in Chicago. Shortly after, two men, Anthony Montgomery Wilson and Preston Powell, were charged with H's murder, according to court documents __. Hold on, who are they? They don't seem to be OTF. I'm not sure about this one. These elderly, enigmatic face ass __. On January 7th, 2022, Mack was seen with two men at 420 West 111th Street in Chicago. The two men immediately placed a reward on his head. Montgomery, Anthony, I haven't seen these two men before. Powell, Wilson, and Preston were charged with murder. According to court filings, Montgomery is for hire. That day, after Mack left the Youth Peace, Wilson and Powell reportedly plotted to have Mack killed in return for cash with other unnamed conspirators. According to federal court documents, the tensions surrounding Lil Durk and his associates escalated into a dangerous conflict that would have lasting impacts. Reports suggest that the feud reached a critical point when associates of Lil Durk discovered that rapper Rondo, with whom Durk's crew had long-standing issues, was staying at a hotel in Los Angeles. This discovery Unfunk took to Instagram stories to address the rumors circulating about his plea deal, saying, "Damn, people really think I told on my own brother," shaking my head, "Show me in my paperwork I told on anybody." Next on the list was Thug's best friend in the industry, Gunner, and just like Quan. There was video evidence. Please say after each statement whether or not you agree or acknowledge that statements are true. The remaining 10 years were on probation, and Unfunk took to Instagram stories to express his frustration. Rivalry set in motion a coordinated series of events leading to a high-profile ambush in the heart of Los Angeles. Court records reveal that Lil Durk's associates, including Keith Jones, DeAndre Wilson, David Lindsay, and Asa Houston, allegedly embarked on a multi-state journey from Chicago to California with the intent to confront Rondo. Using funds reportedly provided by Lil Durk himself, the group first traveled to San Diego before heading to Los Angeles. Once in Los Angeles, they connected with Con Grant, a senior associate who had flown in on a private jet to facilitate the operation. Grant allegedly took responsibility for securing the logistics of the ambush, such as booking hotel rooms for the group, purchasing ski masks, and renting 2 luxury cars to be used in tracking and ultimately confronting Quando. The day of the incident, Grant reportedly provided Jones, Lindsay, and another unnamed associate with firearms. The group then began following Rondo around Los Angeles in a Cadillac Escalade, with the final confrontation taking place at a gas station near the Beverly Center, a prominent shopping area in Los Angeles. According to authorities, the attack unfolded in a brazen manner as Jones, Lindsay, and the unnamed man exited the Escalade and opened fire in broad daylight, unleashing a hail of bullets in Rondo's direction. While Rondo miraculously survived, his cousin, known as El Pab, tragically lost his life in the crossfire while standing outside the vehicle. The attack shocked onlookers and drew significant media attention as it occurred in a busy, high-profile area. Asa Houston allegedly played a critical role in setting up the ambush by parking his vehicle strategically behind the gas station, effectively trapping Rondo and his entourage. After the ambush, the group reportedly regrouped at an In-N-Out burger nearby, where they discussed payment details with Grant. Shortly after, they returned to San Diego and flew back to Chicago, seemingly having executed a calculated attack with the intention of silencing a rival. This incident highlights the ongoing conflict between rival groups in the hip-hop world, particularly within the genre of drill rap, where real-life violence often mirrors the gritty, violent narratives expressed in lyrics. The ambush is part of a broader pattern in the music industry, where tensions between artists and their crews frequently result in deadly confrontations. Drill rap, with its origins in Chicago, has grown into a subgenre that reflects the struggles of those raised in environments where violence, poverty, and crime are prevalent. However, critics argue that the genre has perpetuated a culture of retaliation, where disputes are more likely to be settled with violence than diplomacy. As demonstrated in this attack, as details of the case surfaced, authorities began to draw parallels with other high-profile criminal cases involving rappers and their entourages. Notably, Young Thug's Rico case serves as a similar example, with several of his close associates, including his brother and a reputed hitman, allegedly cooperating with authorities and providing testimony against him. This trend of close associates snitching, or turning state's evidence against prominent rappers, has become a recurring when asked about his famous stunt at King Von's mural, the deceased rapper captioned the photo saying, "The whole world witnessed your main sniper get his splat." This stunt did not sit well with V's guys, especially V's best friend Lil Durk, who decided to defend Von by warning Cash and his song Computer Murderers, in which he raps sneaking pictures by Von mural like "Lil Bro won't come out and spin Cash." He even began trolling his operations in interviews that Lil Durk had instructed him to do so. And I believe that at some point you took the photo in front of all block in front of King Von mural. So what was going on with everything that Durk had instructed me to do, Durk instructed you to do, and yes, it was only a matter of time until his operations caught up with him. Durk's social media warning gave a hint as to what would happen next. Lil Durk had taken to Instagram to warn him that if you were lingering and pursuing, it wouldn't end well. That was in March. According to his Instagram story, some of his friends claimed that he was set up by a female and his father around 5 o'clock that morning. Loose as hell was trying to ride around in the rack, but come on bro, you're not doing that SC. You're no better than the woman who set you up on June 9th, 2022, when Cash was picked up by Rico, who shut you up and went to a nightclub. After the club, the rapper took her to a friend's house to spend the night. At around 5 in the morning, Cash drove the car home with the girl in the back seat, said that she was exhausted and wanted to go to sleep. A little while later, Cash stopped at the stop sign in the 1600 block of West 85. 3 men leaped out of the car as it cut them off, and Cash got out of the car as, "Yes, guy, please leave a comment here and tell me what you think. I'm going out, buddy, it's Durk Cook."